relationship with Matt, in your relationship with your mother, and confiding about your marital issues and things like that, correct?
Yes.
Can we get two up? Yeah. Okay. Let me put two in front of you. Sorry. You tell, through your attorney, you tell the government, well, here's what I know. Here's the information I have. One, Tracy Grist is the mother of Kevin Restelli. Right?
Yes.
Everybody knew that. Number two, Kevin Ellis is the brother of Kevin Restelli, right?
Yes.
Hardly news. Number three, Matthew Restelli, the deceased, is the husband of Kevin Restelli.
Yes.
Then we get to four, Catherine and Matt had marital issues leading up to Catherine moving from her home in California with Matt to her mother's home in Utah. Tracy Grist is Kevin Restelli's mother, right?
Yes.
During Catherine and the marriage, Catherine would confide in Tracy Grist about marital issues.
Yes.
Aside from that, aside from Tracy, Catherine never discussed her relationship with Kevin Ellis or other family members. On occasion, however, Catherine would discuss her struggles with Tara. That's Tara Lynn, right?
Yes.
Now, we already talked about how information proliferated through your family. Let's go to 7. When Catherine moved to Utah to live with her mother, Tracy, it became apparent Tracy wanted to remove Matt from Catherine's life. Right?
Yes.
Tracy wanted to remove Matt from your life.
Yes.
You did too.
Yes, I did.
And according to this offer that the government needs to decide is truthful, you otherwise didn't tell any of that to Kevin. Agreed? Platt says you didn't communicate with Kevin.
Yes.
8, Catherine believes Matt and Tracy have never gotten along well. That's, by the way, clear from the evidence you saw yesterday, right?
Yes.
That Tracy has issues with men and wanted to act against Matt. This information you had your lawyer send over is Tracy doesn't like men?
I believe so.
Doesn't like what?
Men. Thank you, Your Honor. You're in a large group of folks that cannot stand the fact that sometimes I mumble, so please call me out. And so she wanted to act against Matt in action which Tracy initiated, right?
Yes.
Instigated and planned, right?
Yes.
The first thing you tell the government is that Tracy is the instigator, planner, and mastermind of this, right?
Yes.
And she would, 9, I'll start to paraphrase because these are in evidence, but that Tracy would talk about being violent to Matt, removing from the situation, but you didn't really think she'd follow through, right?
No, I didn't.
And that's what you put in here. Tracy would make mention of her intentions in passing, but not in any concerted effort, or Catherine and Tracy and Kevin would meet to discuss the plan. However, in retrospect, Tracy proved to be true to her word, right?
Yes.
All this is Tracy do what she would do, what she wanted to do. Tracy would be word. The name Kevin's not in there, right?
Correct.
Catherine and Kevin never discussed any criminal actions toward Matt. This is the very first thing you say about Kevin, number 10, in your proffer letter that has to be deemed to be true, or you don't get your plea deal from the government, the only ones that can give you a plea deal. Catherine, and Catherine's you, right?
Yes.
And Kevin never discussed any criminal actions toward Matt. That's what it says, right?
Yes.
And what's your position? Is this document that there's a proffer that has to be believed by the government to get a plea deal true? Did you tell the truth to the government?
I forgot that he was there after sushi.
You are racking your mind to tell the government what you're going to say to them, who's prosecuting Kevin Ellis for a conspiracy with you, and you have now forgotten until trial that you have evidence to the contrary?
I don't have evidence.
Well, fair enough, we've already established that you don't have evidence, you're just uttering it, but when you wrote this document, did you rack your brain and tell your attorney everything so he could do a proffer? And you
To
got
the
it.
best of my knowledge, yes.
All right. You didn't lie to your lawyer, did you?
No.
Tracy acted as the intermediary and would only make mentions of things to Tracy, but then Tracy would meet with Kevin. Here we are again, right in the first proffer, you are describing this intermediary position of Tracy. Tracy is working with you on her plan, and then she is doing whatever you don't know with Kevin.
Yes.
11 describes some of the things that were done in preparation for Matt's arrival on July 12th, right?
I do not have 11. I have 1 through 8, and then it goes right to 18.
Oh, sorry. Are we able to page to? And thanks for catching that, because that's the one marked with an exhibit sticker. I'll have to fix that. So now we can just show it on the screen, I can walk through. It's not working when we publish. Not published. Sorry, it's on our screen, but not published. Is there something we need to do? All right, once again, this exhibit, I've been running through you with 10. I'm sorry that you don't have that. Can you see it on the screen?
Yes.
All right. We already established in paragraph 10 about Tracy being an intermediary. You never discussed any criminal actions towards Matt with Kevin. Then you start to describe what happened on July 12th. And it says Tracy removed the magnetic screen door where he would enter. And why? That it would make it so Matt could enter the home more easily, right?
Correct.
Now, it's Tracy who did that.
Yes.
On this proffer. Now, when you interviewed, you acknowledged you and Tracy both did that, right?
I never removed the screen door.
No, fair enough. We're just on screen door here. But in terms of preparation, blankets, moving toys, screen door and all that, you were present.
Yes.
Kevin was not.
Correct.
So that's 12 and 13 is the toys and such. This says Tracy mentioned to Stephanie after the fact that if Stephanie wanted a photo of a body, Tracy would have to take a picture of Matt's body and give it to her. Let's talk a little bit about that. That's Tracy Slocum, right?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's Stephanie Slocum, right?
Correct.
Thanks. Stephanie Slocum is somebody that you had met and talked to about this case online, right?
Yes.
That's through this box called Discord, this box, platform. You can tell my age. It's a platform where people communicate and do whatever they do, tell stories, sort of like as if you could go sit in a room with everybody, right?
And also Instagram, yes.
It's like Instagram, and you can pop in and out, and I'm really sorry because I'm sure I don't understand it, but I'm just trying to establish where you meet Slocum. Do you know that Slocum has testified in the hearing before, where she called you her best friend?
I know that she testified, yes.
You saw
I
her
do not-
transcript,
Yes, and I was appalled at her lies.
because she's just full of it, right? She didn't tell the truth about almost anything that she says you and she talked about, right?
She told the truth on some things, but most things I was shocked that she said.
Let's talk about the things, though. Sorry, I get tangential, but while we're on the subject, Discord and everything else, I don't want to forget. I mean, you're on there all the time. You are constantly on Discord, Instagram, and other things as well, right?
Throughout the day, yes.
And how many, there's hundreds of entries on your phone download of you being on Discord, where you're sharing stories and talking to people, right?
Yes,
And smoking pot.
yes,
One of the things you do, you get on Discord, you'd all get in there and you all smoke pot together and then you'd talk.
yes.
But focus on, you said that Stephanie did say some true things. For instance, when you started talking about Matt and your life and your abuse on Discord, right?
Yes,
You really expressed to these people that you were a victim of abuse and rape and things like that, right?
yes,
And you did a pretty good job to the extent that even some of the males on there would express, where's he live? I'll protect you from him. I'll go get him. Tell me his name, things like that, right?
I don't ever recall them saying that.
Well, Stephanie recalled it. Are you saying she's lying?
Yes.
So are you saying you didn't say any of that stuff?
I'm not saying I didn't say any of that stuff. I'm saying the men on there.
And here's my
React.
point. Sorry to interrupt you. Here's my point. You could tell stories that could get men to react on Discord. Agreed? Can we agree with that?
Sure.
So that's where the Stephanie reference in here comes up. And it's to the point that Stephanie had this sort of obsession with crime and gory details. Agreed?
She did.
Yeah, to talk about that, you'd even send a picture of Matt's dead body to her if she wanted it, right?
I did not say that, no.
You'd have Tracy send it?
I did not. Those words never came out of my mouth.
Tracy, number 14. Your mom had mentioned to Stephanie, that's Slocum, after the fact, meaning after Matt was murdered, that if Stephanie wanted a photo of the body, that's Matt's body, right?
Yes?
That your mom would take a picture of the body, right?
Yes, my mother said those words. I never said that to Stephanie.
Yeah. So you are, it says 15. Kevin was suicidal. Your mom utilized and mentioned that. This is all in connection with the conspiracy for murder. That Tracy took advantage of Kevin's mental issues in relation to hurting Matt. Fair to say?
Yes.
And then, I guess, I don't know if you hoped for this or what, that Kevin could just commit suicide.
No, I would never hope for that.
And yet, discussions about manipulating Kevin's mental state to include that after he did something that Tracy and you would like to see happen, Tracy expressed that maybe he just commit suicide. That's what this means, right?
She said it more as a joke,
So
and
you,
she said it, it made me sad that she would say that.
That's kind of awful, isn't it?
Yes.
Their mother would talk about her desire to help you get Matt killed to the effect that she could manipulate her son, especially since he's suicidal. That's kind of morbid, isn't it?
It is very morbid.
Then we get to paragraph 16, which has to do with using the AirTag to trace, right?
Yes.
We've already discussed, at least in your mind, yours and Carol Lynn's mind. And once again, Tara Lynn is never in on this idea of hurting Matt.
Correct.
You agree, Tara Lynn is a good person. She would not engage in
Correct.
helping you hurt Matt.
Correct.
And she could only know about Matt and what Matt does or says to you or abuses you from you, right?
I sent her voice recordings.
But you recorded Matt on when he was explosive, right?
Yes.
And you also sent Tara Lynn communications that were from Matt that seemed abusive, right?
Yes.
We have some of them in the trial. I think we're going to maybe introduce their thumbnails in some of the exhibits that you had, where you're saying, look what Matt's saying. You're stoking this situation with Tara Lynn about what Matt is doing and how he treats you, right?
Define stoking.
Well, you are presenting her with stuff that's inflammatory.
Inflammatory?
Yes.
Define inflammatory.
Flame, stoking. Things that might get an emotional reaction out of the person you're sharing it with.
Yes.
Got that reaction. Tara Lynn reacted.
She did.
Anyway, we're getting to what happened. The AirTag, paragraph 16. Tracy instructed Catherine to stay upstairs. Don't come down when he arrived. The plan was either Kevin or Tracy, if needed, would shoot Matt with the gun and place the knife in his hand to sell the story of Matt being the aggressor, right?
Correct.
Right. Kevin or Tracy, we're going to return to this a number of times. It's Tracy telling you that either she'll kill him or Kevin will.
Yes.
But there is no time that she ever told you Kevin's in on doing it, right?
She told me, yes, that Kevin was willing to do it.
So that the fact that you have repeated, we'll get to, have told the government that Tracy never told you what she did and talked about with Kevin is now changing at the trial?
I don't think that she did tell me
I know what your assertion is.
she and Kevin had a discussion and that if Kevin didn't want to do it, she would do it.
Now, that's not what this says, right? She doesn't say, this proffer never says that Tracy told you anything she talked to Kevin about. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
All right. "17 talks about how, you've already said, Matt didn't bring that knife. You've
Correct.
been shown that knife. Because she and Tracy had the knife prior to Matt's arrival that day. And Tracy would likely put the knife in Matt's hand, right?
I do not know who put the knife in his hand
I'm aware of-
because I was upstairs.
You don't know.
You're right.
You told the government that your understanding from communicating with Tracy, it's only Tracy, you've never communicated with Kevin on the subject, that Tracy said she would put the knife in his hand.
Yes.
Doesn't say Kevin, doesn't say Tracy and Kevin, it just says Tracy, right?
Yes.
And then here's the final paragraph. Catherine never discussed any details about shooting Matt with Tracy and Kevin. See that?
Yes.
The end is italicized. The point is, you're never talking about this plan with Tracy and Kevin at the same time. Right?
Yes.
You thought long, you thought hard. about trying to get a deal that could save all of this time in prison for you, what the government would need and want to hear. And you said, among the things we just discovered, that you, Catherine, never discussed any details about shooting Matt with Tracy and Kevin together. Never, right?
That's what it says, yes.
Well, and that's what you caused to be given in the way of truthful information to the government, the very first time, right?
Yes.
And you thought long, you thought hard, you had discussions with your lawyer about making sure that the information you give to the government would be relevant and material to the charges that they're bringing not only against you, but Kevin
Yes.
and your mom.
Yes.
Let's get to the other point I made. And I apologize to you and everyone in the room if I'm seem to be belaboring this, but the next line is Tracy, your mother, wouldn't discuss the details with you, only that there was a plan going on and that she, Tracy, would speak to Kevin about the details, right? That's what that says.
Yes.
That's because of what you knew, right?
Yes.
That's because that's what happened, right? She distanced you and Kevin. She kept you on prongs of her plan. I'll talk to Kevin. I'm not going to tell you what I'm talking to him about. But here, let's talk about our plan. You'll lure him in, etc. We've heard what your plan, your guys' plan ended up being. Never you and Kevin together. Tracy's in there directing the conversation. You have no closure with Kevin on it. You don't know what she's telling him. That's
Correct.
what you meant to say here, right?
Yeah.
Now, we already established in Exhibit 1 that the first part of getting this deal was that, according to the prosecutors, it had to be truthful, right?
Yes.
Well, here's what happened. You received an immunity letter, right?
Yes, it did.
And then the prosecutor who said what you said, what we just went over had to be truthful, arranged to have you interviewed, right?
Yes.
So, having presumably determined that that proffer was truthful, they set up the interview, and I think it is on June, in June. June 12th, y'all get together in the room and you have this discussion in this interview with the prosecutors, and certainly they are free in that interview to ask you any question they want, right?
Yes.
You told them that you'd be truthful.
Yes.
You understood that they're gonna have to believe it for you to get your deal still, right?
Yes.
Let's run through what is or isn't said in that interview. Your interview to get the deal. Excuse me one moment. I'm going to focus on questions that had to do with Kevin, but also what you said about Tracy being the mastermind, okay?
Okay.
Having given the proffer that we just went over, when you get to the subject, speaking with Detective Nordine and the prosecutors. Sorry. You again reiterated to the prosecutors this notion that you don't know that there were any conversations with Kevin about this plan, right?
I was only present for the one after sushi.
Well, you agree, as you sit here today, you've never said there was we've already established you said there wasn't any conversations in your proffer letter. Do you remember telling the police when you had your I must be truthful to get my deal meeting that there was never any meeting with Kevin?
Yes.
What you described about Kevin on that day, in fact, was that on the 12th, Kevin was in his room the whole time. You don't remember even seeing him. You remember that?
Correct.
This is what you told the government in the meeting you had where you had to tell the truth to get your deal, right?
Correct.
By the way, this is now, you've had between the May offer letter, you've had a month to get ready to remember, to prepare to give them all the information you have. Certainly do. Talk to about your plan to murder your husband. And who was involved in what happened. You've had all that time to prepare for the meeting, right?
Correct.
And at this point in time, you've had a whole long time since you are arrested and charged with this crime, right?
Yes.
And again, you reiterated to the police, at least, this notion that your mother went to sushi with Kevin, right? Remember that subject came out.
Yes.
But what you told them in this meeting is you don't know what was said with sushi.
I don't know what was said at sushi.
You weren't there.
You're right.
And since you don't know what was said, not only do you not know because you didn't go, you don't know because your mom didn't tell you.
Right.
Mom never said anything. The belief is, there's this sushi meeting. Now, they went to sushi all the time, right?
I don't know.
And they go have lunch, you're not there, your mom doesn't tell you what was said there. Can we agree that that's what you told the government?
Yes.
And flatly said to the government that she went there where she could have a private conversation without involving you.
Correct.
Your whole impression of the thing is your mom is setting up a time she can talk to Kevin, and you won't know anything about what was said or done.
Correct.
I think you told this jury after, if you saw Kevin, we're gonna get to timelines, I don't know, which one is accurate, but, if you ever saw him after the meeting, he didn't seem to be a changed person, he didn't seem to be affected, he didn't seem to have a mood change or anything like that, right?
No.
So anyone who's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 33, same concept. When you have an idea what it is, please look up and let me know. Did you have conversation, and I asked you this already, but just to reiterate, do you have conversations with your mother regarding leaving California?
Yes,
And do these appear to accurately reflect those conversations?
yes,
They would move to admit State's Exhibit 33.
Any objection?
No objection.
So admitted, thank you.
Permission to publish?
Any objection?
No objection.
Publishment.
Read your page 1, please. Could you please read that first message and tell us what date it's from?
it's from June 15th. Diane just said we probably shouldn't go to Vegas.
Okay, and we talked about this earlier, but Diane is Matt's mom, correct?
Yes,
And what are you referring to here?
the yearly trip that we would go with her to Vegas.
When was that planned for?
It varies from year to year. Sometimes it's July, sometimes it's August.
How about this year, in 2024?
I believe it was scheduled for the 20th
Of June? And did you send this text to your mom right after Diane canceled it?
Yes,
And the date on that is what again?
June 15th.
You already had your storage unit at this point, correct?
I don't recall.
Well, your testimony was that it was 2 weeks prior to leaving.
That's when we started planning. I don't remember when we rented the storage unit.
Do you remember when you started filling the storage unit? How many days before you left?
A week.
Okay, so that would put you at if you left on the 20th, that would put you at the 13th, right?
Correct.
Which means you already had the storage unit at this point.
Yes.
Was it your intention to leave Matt, whether the Vegas trip happened or not?
Yes.
Did the Vegas trip just change the timing of when you were going to leave?
No, because I was going to leave from Vegas.
Okay, so your intention was to go to Vegas and then leave him from there.
Yes.
Okay, so you said let's talk through the day that you left. You said you got a rental car with your mom's credit card, right?
Yes.
And physically, where was that rental car agency?
It was off Winchester, and so it's about 20 minutes away from our house.
Okay, and how did you get to Winchester?
I drove the truck, my daily driver, which is in Matt's name.
Could we take it off of this screen? I want to show it to her a picture on the screen. Just hers, though. You could show
Just
her.
show the witness.
Just the witness, yes.
All right.
Stage 36, please. Okay. You recognize that?
Yes.
Is that the daily driver you were talking about?
Yes.
And that's the truck that you took to Winchester?
Yes.
Now, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 36.
Any objection?
No objection.
36 is admitted without objection.
Permission to publish.
Any objection to that?
No objection.
We'll publish it.
Okay, so is that the truck that you were just referring to?
Yes.
That you took, you said Winchester was how far from your house?
15, 20 minutes.
How much distance was that?
10 miles, maybe? I'm not really sure.
Okay, and we can go and take that down, thank you. When you got to Winchester, where did you go?
I went to the rent-a-car, the Enterprise rent-a-car.
And what did you do when you were there?
I rented a Ford Expedition.
And had it already been reserved for you?
Yes.
And what did you do with the truck?
I left it in the Target parking lot, locked.
What did you do with the keys?
I took them with me.
Did anybody meet you in Winchester?
Yes, Terrellyn did.
Anybody else?
My father was there as well with Terrellyn.
What's your father's name? I don't think we've gotten his name yet.
Clyde Ellis.
Clyde Ellis. Is that your biological father?
Yes.
Is that also who raised you?
Raised is a very loose word, but yes.
Sure. Was in your life for your formative years?
Yes.
Why were they there? What did they help? What did they do?
My father was visiting my sister, and it just so happened to be on the day that I was leaving that he came out with her. And she was there to help me with my children and to help me load up anything I could fit into the expedition.
So,
And
by load up, did you go somewhere to load up?
I went to the storage unit to load up my children's clothes, blankets, anything that was practical to take to Utah.
Okay, so what time of day would you say this is on June 20th?
That I was loading up to about
Yeah.
noon,
Okay. And when did you get on the road, do you think, to come to Utah?
about 12:30, 1 o'clock. I believe I left the house at around 9.
Okay. Did you tell Matt that you were leaving?
No, not until 4 p.m.
So prior to renting the car and the storage unit, did he have any idea that you were you were leaving him?
No.
How did you tell Matt that you had left?
Text message.
Permission to approach the witness.
Yes.
See if you can find. So you told him, you said you testified that you told him via text message, correct?
Yes, and on the phone as well. I don't recall exactly what I said to him on the phone, but I know that I told him through text message that I was on my way out to Utah and that I wouldn't be returning that night.
Do you remember who told you what to say in that text message?
I asked her to compose a text message, and it was Tara Lynn who composed a text message for me.
Okay. If we could now republish states 29. Is that the text message you're referring to?
Yes,
Okay, and who's that? And that's from Terrellin, correct?
yes.
If you could please read that.
First of all, I love you. It's been really hard lately because you're so mad every day. Your mom mentioned the other day that I should go to my mom's to give you some space. I called my mom to talk to her about it because I was crying and sad, and she insisted she rent me a car and to come visit her. She said she will pay for everything we need for the week or so. We're up there, so that's not going to make it harder for you. And I left the truck so you can work if you want to. It's in the Target Shopping Center by O'Reilly off Rancho Cal. I love you. I want to help our family move forward and help you feel less stressed. We'll come home after you and I have a little bit of a breather.
Okay, we can take that down. No, and that's the content of the message you sent to Matt as well, correct?
Yes.
That wasn't true, right? You weren't coming home after a breather?
I don't think I had intentions of coming home.
We talked about the truck. Before you left the truck, you said you put the keys in it.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said you locked it.
Yes.
Thank you. What did you do with the keys?
I took them with me.
Thank you. And did you place an air tag in the truck?
Yes, I did.
And where did you put it?
In the little box over the transmission cover, on the inside of the vehicle. There was a little storage box, and it was a catch-all box. And I just dropped it in there.
I'd like to show the witness only an exhibit, please. Can you show the witness states exhibit 2?
Exhibit what number?
2, states exhibit 2. Is it on? Okay. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Does this accurately reflect where you placed the air tag?
Yes.
Say we move to admit states exhibit 2.
Any objection?
No objection.
Admitted, published.
Can we publish it to the jury, please?
Any objection to
No
publish?
objection.
Okay, you described a little box that was located, you said it above the transmission area?
In between the driver and passenger.
Okay. And was the box more full than this?
I don't recall.
Why did you put the tracker in the truck?
Because I was afraid of Matt, and I wanted to know where he was.
Okay.
I wanted to know if he was coming out to Utah, if he was going to the bar.
Why would it matter if he was going to the bar?
Because he had a tendency to lie to me a lot.
I'm sorry, could you say that?
He had a tendency to lie to me a lot.
Right, but you were leaving, right? You're gone.
Right?
Why does it matter if he goes to the bar?
Because I have control issues.
Okay. So you placed the AirTag in the truck. Whose idea was that?
It was Tara Lynn's idea. I mulled on it, and I ultimately made the decision to put it in there.
Is it fair to say you were uncomfortable with that at first?
Objection, leading.
Okay, so, sustain.
Okay, I'll withdraw the question. So it was Tara Lynn's idea, you molded over, and then you decided to do it,
Yes.
correct? Where did that AirTag come from?
Tara Lynn.
Do you know who had access to monitor that AirTag?
I believe it was originally purchased for Disneyland, and I am not an Apple user. My mom is, and Tara Lynn is not. I believe Rachel had access to it because she was going to track the children. Possibly, I believe Kevin had access to it.
This was in February, correct?
Yes,
Is that what you're
for
just-
Disney to track
Okay.
to track Tara Lynn's 2 children.
Now, that was its original purpose, correct?
Yes,
But it was repurposed on June 20th of 2024. Is that fair?
yes,
And what was it repurposed for in June of
for
2024?
tracking Matthew.
And at that time, in June of '24, who could monitor the AirTag?
I believe the same people. I never had access to it.
You never had access to it?
No, I was never on my device was I able to access the AirTag.
What devices did you have?
I had an Android. I can't remember the model. And I also had an iPad.
And you couldn't track it on the iPad?
No, I could not.
Permission to approach the witness.
Yes.
Just showed you what's previously been marked as State's Exhibit 3. Would you please take a look at that? And when you have an idea what that is, if you could look up. On June 20th, did you create what appears to be a Facebook group with Rachel, Terrellyn, and Tracy?
Yes.
And did you communicate with them through that forum?
Yes.
And does this appear to be an accurate reflection of that communication that you had with them on that day?
Yes.
Now, the state would move to admit State's Exhibit 3.
Any objection, Mr. Williams?
No objection.
So admitted without objection.
Permission to publish page
No objection.
15.
We will not have any objection to the state publishing an exhibit once it's admitted. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, so
Okay.
when the record will reflect that after an exhibit's been admitted, the defense has no objection to publishing it. Thank you, Mr. Williams.
Okay, we could publish page 15, please. Actually, I'm sorry, do you have page 1 by chance? Okay. Who all was in the group?
Myself, Rachel, Terrellyn, and my mother.
Okay. And if you could summarize for me, because you just skimmed them, right?
Yeah.
What are you guys
Yeah.
talking about?
The Apple tag and Matt coming out and me getting to my mother's house.
Okay. And could you please read the green message that you sent on June 22nd on the screen?
Kevin has it on his phone too.
What did you mean by that?
Access to the Apple tag.
So Kevin had access to the Apple tag.
Yes.
Did all the other women on this thread have access to the Apple tag?
I believe Terrellyn was able to monitor it through an iPad. And my mom and Rachel also had access to it, yes.
Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but earlier I thought you stated Terrellyn couldn't track it. Are you retracting that and saying now you think maybe she did through an iPad?
I forgot she had the iPad.
Okay. Does it appear that she was tracking it through these text messages?
Yes.
You should have what was previously admitted as State's Exhibit 29 in front of you. Once you find that, can you let me know?
Yes, I have it.
Amy, are you able to publish State's 29? Is that all you have from it? Yes. If you can go to publish, page 18. So if you could either turn to 18 or just look on your screen and you can read off of there if you want. About halfway down through the page, actually we'll just start
I'm sorry, I missed the
29. Page 18. Okay, if you could please read, starting with that third message and tell us who sent that.
Perfect. Outgoing.
And who sent that message?
I believe I sent that.
To Tara Lynn, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next one?
I asked Carolyn, I sent another text message to Carolyn, check the tag if you're up.
And then the next one after that, please.
Can you send the link to Kevin?
And what date did you ask for the link to be sent to Kevin?
6/21.
Okay, and what was her response to you?
What's his Apple ID or thing?
And then just go ahead and go to the next, read the next message that has content.
His email?
Yeah.
kevinstanleyellis@gmail.com.
We could go to the next page, please.
Okay, give me a couple minutes. Just got out of the shower.
And then let's jump down to, let's go to the next page, please, page 20. And if you could read the second message and tell us who sent that.
I sent it to Carolyn. I said, got it.
And what are you referencing?
I believe that Kevin received the link to the Apple tag.
And how do you know that Kevin received it?
I don't recall.
Were you with him?
He was at the house. I don't recall the conversation.
Okay, but do you recall him being present?
At the house, yes.
Okay, at the time that you're having this exchange with Tara Lynn.
I don't remember.
And then let's go down 4 more messages. If you could read that, please.
He's on it.
And what was Tara Lynn's response to that?
I personally think my emoji is the best.
And then to the top of page 21, please. And what was your response at the top of page 21?
LOL, Kevin just commented on it.
Okay, what was her response?
She laughed at it.
Okay, and then what would you say?
He is shitty.
Okay, so top one, LOL, Kevin just commented on it. Does that refresh your memory of whether you were having a conversation with Kevin?
He must have been sitting there.
Okay. We can take that down. How long were you in Utah before Matt came out?
How long was I in Utah?
Yes.
About 3 weeks.
In those 3 weeks, did members of this group and Kevin and yourself continue to monitor Matt's location?
Yes.
And would you have conversations about that?
Yes.
Permission to approach the witness.
Yes. Let's make it easier, Mr. Smith. You have ongoing permission.
I'm going to show you what's been previously marked as State's Exhibit 4. Would you please take a look at that, and when you have an idea of what that is, please look up. Okay. Did you have a text message conversation? Did you communicate with Kevin via text message
Yes.
periodically? And does this appear to be an accurate reflection of those text messages that you had with him?
So there's one text message in April that he replied back with, and then the rest of our conversations are after I got to Utah.
Yeah,
Or in-
and we'll get there, yeah.
Yes.
But this do appear accurate, correct?
Yes.
Good morning. This is Matthew Restelli. On the night of July 12th, 2024, Mr. Kevin Ellis killed him. Kevin acknowledges that he shot his brother-in-law, Matthew. But the key question is this. When Kevin shot Matthew 7 times, including 3 shots in the back, was it murder or self-defense? In Utah, the state must prove both murder and disprove self-defense. Later, the judge will explain to you the exact legal definitions of these terms and what applies here. For now, though, murder means an unjustified killing. Self-defense applies when someone reasonably believes force was necessary to prevent an imminent harm. In this trial, the evidence will show that Matthew's killing was not self-defense. The state will argue from the evidence that Kevin's actions were not reasonable and were not justified by the facts or the law. The state contends that murder and not self-defense best explains all the evidence you will hear during this trial. For example, you will hear that Kevin and his mother, Tracy, waited more than 8 minutes after the shooting before calling 911. During those 8 minutes, no one attempted to give Matthew any life-saving aid, and he died. And Kevin was overheard saying during that time frame something to the effect of being careful because Matthew might still be moving. Also during those 8 minutes, a knife was placed in Matthew's hand, placed backwards, and in Matthew's right hand when Matthew was left-handed. If you find Kevin committed murder, unjustified by self-defense, the evidence will also show that he was not acting alone. There was a conspiracy, a plan by Kevin, his mother Tracy, and his sister Catherine to kill Matthew, who was Catherine's husband. A conspiracy simply means 2 or more people agreed to commit or cause a crime. The evidence will show coordinated actions by Kevin, Tracy, and Catherine. It will show that Catherine coaxed Matthew to Utah. It will show that Kevin shot Matthew. And it will show that Tracy helped stage the scene to make it look like self-defense. But why would you kill a family member? Because Catherine wanted a divorce. She wanted a divorce on her own terms, including custody of the children that they had together. Terms that a lawyer told her just days before the shooting were not possible. A very high-level overview or summary of the evidence is as follows. On June 20th, 3 weeks before the shooting, Catherine traveled from California to Utah, with her children claiming it was a temporary break. She would soon learn that law would require a divorce in California and not Utah, and that she would not automatically get full custody of her children. Catherine and Tracy then worked together to lure Matthew to Utah under false pretenses. They told Matthew that if he drove to Utah, Catherine and the kid would return to California with him. However, in reality, the evidence is showing that Catherine and her family never intended for her to go back home with Matthew. Catherine also insisted that Matthew drive a specific truck, which had an Apple AirTag in it, that she had secretly placed before she left the state. This would allow and did allow her family members to track Matthew's location. On July 12th, as Matthew drove from Southern California to Utah, Catherine repeatedly told him that he needed to come in and that he should enter Tracy's home without knocking. What she didn't tell Matthew is that Kevin was waiting inside the door. When Matthew entered, Kevin shot him within seconds. Kevin and Tracy then delayed the call to 911, planted a knife in Matthew's hand, and portrayed Matthew as having been an armed intruder to both 911 and to the police who arrived on scene. And frankly, their version of events, the story, might not have been called into question but for what was observed about that knife. A small but critical error was made that ultimately led to a much larger investigation and the unraveling of this plan or conspiracy. As I already noted, that knife had been placed backward in Matt's right hand when he was left-handed. Now, members of the jury, this overview provides you a general idea of what this trial is about. We know that by his own admission, Kevin shot Matthew, and your job is to decide whether that was murder or justified by self-defense. Were Kevin's actions on July 12th reasonable? To answer those questions, you will hear a substantial amount of evidence over this trial. Too much to neatly summarize in just a few minutes with you here today. Instead, we will give you a framework to understand the events leading up to Kevin shooting Matthew. An outline that will help you follow not only the actions made by Kevin, but those taken by his sister Catherine, his mother Tracy, other members of the family, as well as Matthew. Feel free to take notes if you wish, as this will likely help you keep track of the evidence. Now, to begin with, I'd like to start with a family tree because it will be helpful to understand the family relationships of the people involved and the people you will hear about or hear from during this trial. We have Matthew placed right here. Matthew also went by Matt. He is the deceased person here. We have Kevin right here. Kevin Ellis is the defendant. Now, we mentioned his mother, Tracy. Tracy has 7 children. Carolyn, Kevin, Catherine, who also goes by Kate and was married to Matthew. I'll return to that. Tim, Rachel, Jacob, and Aurora, who also goes by Rory. Matthew's mother was Diane. Matthew and Catherine have 2 children. At the time this all happened, Cheyenne was 8 and Steele was 5. Now, Matthew and Catherine lived in California. You will likely hear from Diane during this trial. You will learn a little bit about the Grist family. Tara Lynn also lived in California. Kevin, Jacob, and Aurora lived in the same home with Tracy. That's the home that Catherine went to when she came to Utah. Tim lives elsewhere in the county, and Rachel lives in northern Utah. Members of the jury, I will now turn to that framework of what the evidence will show, and from which you may conclude that Matthew Restelli's wife, Kate, and his brother-in-law, Kevin, and his mother-in-law, Tracy, conspired to murder him. We begin with the development of the motive, or the origin of the conspiracy. I mentioned Matt and Kate married in 2016. They lived in California. Matt was an avid mountain biker. He loved the outdoors. Matt had a son from a previous relationship, and Matthew and Catherine had 2 children together shortly after their marriage. You can see them here. By early 2024, however, Matt and Kate's relationship had become strained. Kate had grown unhappy with the marriage. She viewed it as loveless, and she sought out other relationships, which became a point of contention between her and Matt. In January 2024, Kate had confided to her mother that she wanted out of the marriage. Here's one of the messages she sent. She says, "We've been fighting so much. I want out." And by May, text messages between Kate and Tracy reflected her frustration and unhappiness. She told her mom, "I hate my life, Mom." She said, "I hate that I have kids with Matt." And she says, "This is so bad right now. I hate him so much." Ultimately, Kate was unhappy enough to separate from Matthew. essentially disappearing without warning on June 20th, 2024, and taking their 2 young children to live, as I said, at her mother Tracy's house in American Fork, Utah. She drove a rental car that Tracy paid for. In addition to Kate's unhappiness, there is evidence you will hear that will show there was no love lost between the entire Grist family and Matt. Text messages will show that members of the Grist family repeatedly talked about him and included comments about harming him. These texts will be presented in more detail during the trial, but I will give you a few examples right now. In January, there was one text exchange between Kate and Tracy where Kate received this message: "I'll just drive 9 hours and strangle him." Tracy referring to Matt. On June 6th, there was a message by Tracy to one of the other daughters, Rachel, where she said, "Matt made it so I want to kill him. He straight up lied. I'm gonna kill him." These texts and other evidence will show that Tracy returned time and time again to making comments about killing Matthew. Now, the format of this exhibit is a little bit different, but this happened on June 16th. It was a text exchange between Tara Lynn, one of the sisters, and Rachel, one of the sisters. Tara Lynn asked Rachel, "He wanted to know if you shot your .380 yet," referring to a handgun. And Rachel responded, and note that the date on this is 4 days before Catherine came to Utah. She said, "No, unfortunately kids make it hard to get out and go shooting. Ha ha. We need to coordinate with Mom and take it out before any chance of Matt coming. LOL." After Kate came to Utah, she and the family learned that separating from Matt and getting custody would be very difficult. The biggest part was that California still had legal jurisdiction over the children in the marriage. Kate recorded the conversation she had with a lawyer about this situation, and she shared that conversation with her family members. You will hear about that conversation during this trial. We have a summary of it we can show you right now. A friend of hers texted, "How did your attorney meeting go?" Kate said, "Honestly, I'm fucked." "How so?" he asked. "Just dumb California law. I just feel hopeless." And just like that, the evidence is going to show, it will show that these comments and jokes escalated into action. Loose strands or thoughts present over a period of time were woven in those final days and hours into a plan that culminated when Kevin shot Matthew. Yes, Kate initially pursued a divorce. Then a different plan developed. It was a way out of the marriage, no California court, no shared custody, and no loose ends. This plan is what the state alleges is the conspiracy in this case, and that this plan involved Kate and Tracy and Kevin. The evidence of this alleged murder conspiracy, at least in retrospect, can analytically be broken down into 4 steps, or 4 phases. Phase 1 was getting Matt to Utah. Phase 2 was getting Matt inside of Tracy's house. Phase 3 was surprising and shooting Matt. And phase 4 was attempting to cover it up. I'll briefly discuss each of these phases. So phase 1, getting Matt to Utah. For any plan to work, they had to get Matt to Utah. The evidence will show the efforts taken to get Matt to travel to Utah. As mentioned, Kate had come to Utah under the guise of a temporary breather. Matt wanted Kate and the kids to come home to California, and he did try to assist Kate in coming home without him traveling to Utah. He attempted to rent a car for Kate. He tried to give her money so that she could rent a car and come back to California, but that didn't work. It didn't work because Kate and Tracy worked together to create excuses as to why Kate couldn't drive to California, and Matt had to come to Utah. During the trial, you would hear and see messages documenting these falsehoods or ruses. Here's one example of them. This is a text message the day before Matthew came from Tracy to Kate. Plus, "You are going to sprain your ankle soon." To which Kate replies, "Yes, he wants me to leave tomorrow. I have to make arrangements for the car today. You can't drive with that ankle." The evidence will show Kate never had a sprained ankle. Not only did Kate convince Matt to drive to Utah, She convinced him to drive a very specific car, their truck. You will hear a phone call in which Matt expressed concern about that truck. He was concerned it would break down, he was concerned about the tires, and he wanted to borrow a car. But Kate was insistent he needed to drive the truck. Why is that? Because Kate had hidden an Apple AirTag inside the truck. This Apple AirTag. Kate had placed that AirTag in the truck in a bin under a pile of trash. Now here's a screen grab from some body cameras of the officers. There's the bin that she hid it in. And there in the top middle is the AirTag. And you'll see a clip of this in the trial. And they also had to pull out a lot of trash before they ever saw this. She hid this on the day she left California, June 20th, 2024. Multiple family members, including Kevin, could and did track the AirTag. In fact, they tracked him all the way from California to Utah when he came on July 12th. Now, despite Kate convincing Matt to drive to Utah in this trackable truck, there was another problem. Matt was reluctant to come inside Tracy's house. Phone calls and texts show Matt had one purpose. He wanted to pick up his little family and go home to California. These are the first messages between Kate and Matthew on the day he was shot. Kate says, "Good morning, getting up and getting moving. Excited for today." Matt says, "I'm over the moon. Can't wait to hug and kiss you all." But as far as going in Tracy's home, the evidence will show he didn't want to do that. It will show he didn't want a confrontation with Tracy. He wasn't even going to turn off the car. He just wanted to load up quickly and go home with Kate and the kids. Which brings us to the second phase, or the second step, getting Matt inside of Tracy's house. Now, the evidence will show that Matt likely didn't want to enter the house because he and his mother, Tracy, didn't get along. This wasn't a big secret. There were many texts about this. This is one example of a conversation about Matt between Tracy and Kate. Begins with Tracy saying, "I just told your husband, don't mess with my child. I want you to know I meant that. He should not mess with you. He asked if it was a threat, and I said, I just wanted him to not react. But that's only because I was watering down my words." Kate told her, "He's so mad, please don't call him." And this is when she said, "Try to sleep. I won't call him. I'll just drive 9 hours and strangle him." But it also continued. Kate let Tracy know, "Matt's really upset that you quote unquote threatened him. He wants to call you and make sure that you backbattle." It appears to backpedal the threat of him. You can read the exact words there. To which Tracy responds, "Okay, but fuck him. He can call and I will act innocent enough, but he doesn't have the balls to call me." Now, despite this, Kate repeatedly reassured Matt throughout the drive. She gave him the gate code to this gated community so he could get in. She told him the doors were unlocked. She said Tracy would be asleep and he could come right in. In fact, at one point, Tracy told Kate to reassure Matt that I'll be sweet as candy. Tracy, who previously belittled Matt, now encouraged with this text Matt to enter the home without hesitation. Meanwhile, the family, including Kevin, was monitoring the AirTag. Now, Kevin could monitor the AirTag at least as early as June 21st, and we know this because he commented on that to his sister Kate. Texts from June 26th show and confirm that he actively monitored the AirTag. So Kevin was traveling in Idaho, and Kate asked him, "What day are you coming back?" Kevin says, "Friday, late." "Okay, cool." And then he says, "The tag is still active." She says, "Really?" And he says, "If I have to rush back, I can make that happen." And in conjunction with that text, he sends a screenshot. That screenshot is the Find My on Apple of Matt's truck's location. And as you can see, that's the emoji they chose for Matt's truck. Then on July 12th, throughout the day of the shooting, The family exchanged numerous phone calls and messages, many of which discussed Matt. Preparations were made throughout the day for his arrival. Early in the day, there was a hive of activity via phone and text between Kate and Tracy and Rachel and Tara Lynn. They discussed Matt coming out. They looked up his location multiple times. Just after lunch, Rachel sent Tara Lynn an image of Matt's truck, to which Tara Lynn replies, "Oh fuck, that's pretty far up there." That then led to a flurry of overlapping phone calls and messages between Kate, Tracy, Rachel, and Tara Lynn. Shortly after that, Rachel called Tracy's two youngest children, Jacob and Rory, and made arrangements for them to be out of Tracy's house for the night. And throughout the day, Tracy and Kate continued the ruse of Kate going back to California and their messages and conversations to Matt. Other preparations had been made. The children's toys had been cleaned up and placed in another room for that evening. A blanket was placed on the couch. This blanket is on the couch right next to the front door where Matthew entered and adjacent to where he was shot. Additionally, previously, only a few days earlier, Tracy had deleted her entire chat history with Kevin. And only a couple weeks earlier before that, Kate set her Snapchat conversations with Kevin to disappear, so they were no longer saved on her phone. While all these preparations occurred, and while the family monitors Matt's location, Kate continued to coax Matt to come into the home unannounced. Audio from a phone call just hours before his arrival shows that not only did Matt not want to turn off his car and come inside, we asked Kate to put out the cardboard so it didn't leak oil on the road for the few minutes that he'd be parked there. And indeed, they did put out that piece of cardboard. Kate consistently told Matt during these phone calls that she loved him. She was excited to go home with him, even though she had no intent of leaving with Matthew that evening. Then at 10:01 p.m., just minutes before Matt's arrival, Rachel texted Tracy and then Kevin. These are the texts to Tracy. Orem, keep an eye on Find My. This is the text to Matt, or to Kevin. Orem, keep an eye on Find My. Metadata shows that Kevin read this message. Which brings us to phase 3, the surprise and the shooting of Matt. So at 10:01 p.m., Matt was in Orem. Within minutes, he arrived in American Fork. Just before 10:06 p.m., Matt entered the gated community. Inside the home, Tracy's home, were Kate. She was upstairs with the children. Evidence will show Tracy was waiting in the kitchen, and that Kevin had put on a holster and a gun and was waiting in the front room. There was no one else in the house that night. At 10:06 p.m., a neighbor's security camera recorded Matt's truck pulling up. You can see right there, the camera detected the motion of the truck and started recording at 10:06 p.m. Matt took a little over 30 seconds to park. He left his hazard lights on. He carefully parked over the cardboard that Kate had left out for him, so his truck wouldn't leak oil on the road. At 10:07 p.m., the neighbor said they heard gunshots coming from the Grist home. The evidence will show that when Matt entered the home, he removed his sandals. You can see him right there. And he placed them right inside the front door. It shows that within a second of Matt's entry, Kevin began shooting. The evidence will then show that Matt tried to flee, but he didn't get far. According to the physical and medical evidence, Kevin shot Matthew in the chest, the side, the wrist, and 3 times in the back, as Matt moved from the front door down a hallway to his immediate left. The evidence will show that Matt then fell down, face first, in that hallway, some 10 to 15 feet from where he had taken off his sandals. At 10:08 p.m., the neighbors who had heard the shots texted Tracy and asked if everything was okay. At 10:09, the neighbors hadn't heard back, so they called 911. Now around this time, Kate, who had stayed upstairs through everything that happened with the kids overheard Kevin say something again to the effect about being careful because he, Matt, might still be moving. Tracy didn't call until 10:15. More than 8 minutes after the shooting, 6 minutes after the neighbors called. By that time, police had already been dispatched, and they did arrive about 2 minutes into Tracy's call. You'll hear the call. During the call, Tracy described Matt as having been armed with a knife. To the police that arrived, Kevin's first words were, "That guy had a knife." But the evidence will show that Matt was not armed. It will show that he was not an intruder. It will show that he was unarmed. It will show that he was invited. It will show that he was an expected guest to that home. He'd been trapped from California. The cardboard had been placed out for his arrival. He was given the gate code and specifically told the front door is unlocked and he should just walk right in. This brings us to the fourth phase, the attempt to cover it up. When police arrived, as I noted, Kevin immediately said that Matthew had a knife. The video that you'll get to see, the body cam, he says, pointing towards Matthew's body, "Guy had a knife," and the voice trails off in the body cam video. And a knife was indeed found in Matthew's hand, but the evidence will show it was planted there. There are several key pieces of physical evidence that show the knife was planted. Here are 3 pieces. 2 of them I already told you about. Here's a still frame from body cam showing the position of that knife as the police entered. As I mentioned, the knife was held backwards in the hand, and it was in the wrong hand. Now today, this is not the knife that was in Matthew's hand. You'll see that during the trial. This is a replica of that knife. It is essentially the same knife. And you can see what this knife looks like, tactical knife. You can see that there is the spine where the palm goes. You can see the area where the finger goes. You can see the back part of the blade, and you can see the sharp part of the blade. And you can compare this to how Matthew was holding a knife in his hand. It's right there in the photo. The blade was facing inwards. The spine of the knife facing his fingers, while the finger grip was in the palm of his hand. There's a third fact that's important. Matt had been shot through his wrist. I suppose it's more correctly to say through the arm, right below his wrist. The gunshot wound to the arm perforated the skin, the tissues under the skin, the muscles, and the ulna, or the forearm bone. The evidence will show that all these structures are the structures that affect a person's ability to grip objects, such as a knife. Further, you will hear evidence this wasn't even Matt's knife, and it was definitively Tracy's knife. Tracy had access to this type of weapon and was seen with it before the shooting. You also see evidence regarding Tracy's search history. She searched on June 16, 2024, 4 days before Kate came, 3 weeks before the shooting. Quote, Utah shoot break-in. And then on July 11, 2024, the day before the killing, Tracy searched, when was Donna Adelson arrested? Donna Adelson was a woman charged with hiring a hitman to kill her son-in-law. Finally, there is one more piece of evidence, one more witness you should know about up front. She's our first witness. Kevin Restelli will testify at this trial. Kate admits that she conspired to murder Matthew. She has pled guilty to the crimes of conspiracy and of murder, and she has been sentenced. It is true that Kate entered into a plea agreement. You will hear at least some of the details of that plea deal. In exchange for pleading guilty, Kate will have the possibility of being released earlier than she otherwise would have. But Kate's plea agreement is not irrevocably tied to her testimony. You will hear that the terms of the plea agreement did not require her to testify to receive the benefit of the bargain she received. And to be clear, Kate is not presented as the centerpiece of the state's evidence. Rather, the state expects that Kate's testimony will corroborate the physical, the digital, and the forensic evidence you will hear about during this trial. And as she testifies, Kate may minimize some things. She is expected to testify about her relationship with Matt. She'll testify, we expect, that it wasn't just strained, but that Matt constantly blamed her for their problems. She described this as emotionally abusive. She may also testify that Matt begged or pressured her for sex, which is what she describes as sexually abusive. But this testimony is not presented to excuse her actions. Testimony is presented to explain why she agreed to participate in a conspiracy to kill her husband, Matthew, along with Tracy and Kevin. So you'll hear all those details. You'll hear about the plea. You will judge her credibility. As when she testifies about the communication she had, things she saw, things she heard, and things she did. She will testify that Tracy specifically told her that either she, Tracy, or Kevin would kill Matt. She will explain that Tracy showed her the knife before the killing, and that she knew where it was being stored. She will explain that after hearing the shots that killed Matt, she's the one that heard Kevin say something to the effect about being careful, because Matt might still be moving. We now return to the key question. When Kevin shot and killed Matthew, was it murder? Was it self-defense? In answering that question, you might wonder where exactly Kevin fits into all this evidence. This evidence we heard about Kate and Tracy and the other family members about the conspiracy. Was Kevin truly part of the murder conspiracy? The evidence will answer those questions. I started this with a summary of the evidence, and I will conclude this with a summary of the evidence. I will conclude it with a summary of what we expect the evidence to show in answering those two key questions. Was it murder or self-defense? The evidence will show there was an advanced plan to shoot Matt. The evidence will show a coordinated plan to stage self-defense claim. Tracy had the knife beforehand, was seen with it beforehand. The knife was found in a non-dominant hand, held backwards with that wound that you saw. The evidence will show Matt was coaxed into the home. Kate told Matt the front door would be unlocked, asked him to enter the home to help her, told him to enter without knocking, told him Tracy would be asleep, or sweet as candy. Matt was also provided the gate code, so he could enter the neighborhood without contacting anyone inside. Matt was tracked. Kate ensured he drove the truck so that everyone in the family could track his location right up until his arrival. There were the coordinated actions during the shooting. Kate was told to remain upstairs with the children. She'll testify about that. Kevin shot Matthew seconds after entering the home. And Kevin or Tracy planted that knife in Matthew's hand. Then there's the post-shooting conduct. The post-shooting conduct that tells you or will help you analyze whether it was murder or self-defense. There was that significant delay in calling 911 when the neighbor called almost immediately. No life-saving measures performed. There was the numerous text messages and internet searches on various phones that were deleted. And there were the statements by Kevin and Tracy to the police when they arrived at the home that conflict with the physical evidence. And then there's the second question. Was Kevin part of the conspiracy? What will the evidence show about that? Evidence shows Kevin was the shooter of Matt. We'll learn about circumstances related to the gun. The gun belonged to Tracy, but it was used by Kevin. You will hear that Kevin was wearing a holster and carrying a gun inside his own home, even though he lived in a safe, gated neighborhood, and he did so after 10 p.m. at night. This evidence will show Kevin was prepared to kill Matthew. This will show that Matthew knew Kevin was close by. Evidence will show that Matthew did not surprise Kevin that night. Then there was Kevin's participation in placing the knife in Matt's hand. We know what the statement was through Kate's testimony, if you believe her. She overheard Kevin say, "Be careful, because Matt might still be moving." That only left in the home Tracy or Kevin to plant that knife. Kevin participated in the tracking of Matt. We have text messages from him that show that he could and did track Matthew. We have the message to him that he read that shows he knew Matt was close by. There is the corroboration of Kate's testimony. She is expected to directly implicate Kevin in Matthew's murder. And some of you will look at the totality of the evidence. The evidence shows Kevin's ties to the conspiracy through his actions before, during, and after the shooting. Taken together, this evidence will show that it was murder and not self-defense. In light of this evidence, you may conclude that Kevin played a key role in this murder. For these reasons, at the conclusion of this trial, my colleague will address you. He will review the evidence with you, including evidence you haven't even addressed yet. He will ask you to return verdicts of guilty on the murder charge, on the conspiracy charge, on the obstruction of justice charge, and all the other charges against him. We ask you to return verdicts consistent with what the evidence will show. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Conley. Ms. Williamson, State Attorney would be happy to reword it for you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mrs. Restelli. Will you please tell the jury your name and spell your first and last name?
I'm Diane Restelli. My first name's D-I-A-N-E, and last name's R-E-S-T-E-L-L-I.
And Mrs. Restelli, where do you live?
I live in Trabuco Canyon, California.
Is that in southern, northern, central?
That's in Southern California.
And are you married?
Yes.
How long have you been married?
I've been married to my second husband about 2.5 years.
And were you married before that?
Yes, I was. I was married to my first husband, Tom, for 41 years.
And do you have any children?
I have 3 children. Paul is the oldest, and then Matthew, and then Mark.
I'd like to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 32. Thirty-seven.
Did you say 37?
I meant 37. Apologize, Your Honor. Do you recognize what that exhibit is?
Yes, that's Matthew, my son.
Does that fairly and accurately show what he looks like? or look like?
Well, when he got married, yes.
David moves in at State's Exhibit 37.
Any objection?
No objection.
Submitted without objection. Thank you.
State would move to publish. And how old was he last year?
42.
And tell me a little bit about him. What did he like to do?
Matt was an outdoorsman. He loved the adventure of hiking, fishing, camping. He loved mountain biking, and at one point he was a nationally ranked mountain biker for his age category. And that was something that he did almost every day, you know, in his adulthood. He loved it. Matt was very mechanically oriented, loved gears and machines and equipment and, you know, large pieces of equipment. Just a very talented mechanic and very creative in what he did.
And did you have a close family?
We did.
Would you get together fairly often?
Well, I lived, you know, not too far from, about an hour's drive away from Matt, but we tried to see him as often as we could. But all in all, when we had any type of Thanksgiving or Christmas, my boys were always present with their families.
And what was your relationship like with Matthew personally?
My relationship was great. He made a pact with his father when he was on his deathbed in the critical care unit in 2020 that he would watch after me, after he passed away. And Matt was the kind of kid that he made that promise, and he kept it until his dying day. He was always there to help me with decision-making, mechanical things with my car, fixing things, just consulting with me and helping me. Matt made good on his promise to his father.
It's okay. Would you describe him as a kind person?
Yes. Matt was respectful. He never raised his voice to me and honored my opinions and my comments, whenever how hard it was to hear.
How often would you talk to him?
I talked to Matt almost every day, since his father's death. Every night, he would call me, or day, mostly nighttime, and he would give me a recap of his day, how things went, how things didn't go, and the kind of things that he was excited about and working on.
And was he married?
Yes.
And who was he married to?
He was married to Catherine.
And do you know how long he was married for?
They got married in 2016.
And how long did they date before that?
There was a number of years, I would say, about 5 years or more, they were together.
So have you known Catherine Restelli for a long time?
Yes, I have.
What was your relationship like with her?
Kate was very rough around the edges. You had to be very careful because she would blow up very easily. And I had many occasions, or several occasions, in which she blew up in a very horrific way, verbally. I just tried to model a positive behavior with Kate, to help her, grow in her relationship with the family and with her husband.
And do you know, did they have kids?
They did. They had 2 children. And Matt had 1 child from a previous relationship.
The state would like to show the witness what's marked as State's Exhibit 38.
Any objection?
No objection. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Do you recognize what that exhibit is?
Yes, that's Matt with his 3 children.
Is it a photograph that accurately and fairly represents what they looked like at that time?
Yes.
State would move to publish admit State's Exhibit 38.
Thought it just was, no objection.
State would move to publish.
The defense will not have any objections to publishing admitted material.
Thank you.
Okay, you can take it down. Did you ever meet Catherine Restelli's family?
I did.
How many times?
I probably met her family, entire family, at least 1 time in Salt Lake at her mother's house. And maybe a few of them off and on if they did happen to show up at Matt and Kate's place.
And would Matt and Kate often go to Catherine's family for holidays or vacations or things like that?
I think they had a few times, or a couple of times, that they had gone to Salt Lake, or Matt had gone to pick up Kate or whatever. And I think there was some vacationing that her mother did in the Carlsbad area of California, and they would go down and visit there too.
Did Matt spend a lot of time with Catherine's family, to your knowledge?
Not really. He really wasn't really comfortable with, her mother.
Where did Matt and Kate live?
Matt and Kate lived in borderline of Temecula, Awanga, California.
And who owned that property?
I own the property and the manufactured home on the property.
And so how did Matt and Kate support themselves?
They supported themselves pretty much on whatever Matt's handyman work that he did. They didn't make any mortgage payments or have to pay any rent. That was all covered by me and my husband, my first husband. So they just did handyman work or hauling work or, whatever work he was, involved in that he created.
Did they have any financial issues?
They did, yes.
Did either of them, to your knowledge, have another job besides the handyman work?
I think towards the very, very end, I think Kate was doing some kind of work for some ranch nearby the home, but it was very, piecemeal.
And do you know how many operable vehicles they had?
I think at one point they had 2 operable vehicles until one of them broke down, and then that was in the shop, and then they had just the one operable vehicle that he drove here, which, was older. They had some other heavy-duty equipment that was operable, but that was not road, it's not something you drive on the road, per se.
Do you remember the last time you talked to Matt?
I talked to Matt 2 hours before he was murdered.
Do you recall what time that was?
That was probably around around the 7 o'clock hour.
Do you recall what kind of mood he was in?
He was in a decent mood. I think he had had some trouble with ordering some food at a restaurant. Couldn't believe how much money the food cost and the quality. But that was a normal conversation with Matt and I, and we talked about how was the truck running. I asked him about I said, how are you feeling in driving? I said, are you okay? Are you alert enough? And do you have water and food or something to keep you occupied? Just a very positive conversation that he was looking forward to seeing his family in about 2 hours. He was just 2 hours outside of American Fork.
And when did you first learn that Matt had died?
I learned the following morning around the 8 o'clock hour when Tracy Grist called me. And the first statement she said, are you sitting down? Are you with your husband? And I said, okay. And then she said, Matt is dead. End quote.
Did she tell you any more about that?
No.
Did that cause you concern? Did it cause you concern?
My immediate thought was that Matt maybe had had a tire blowout or something had happened, on the road, and that he was in a car accident. I had no inkling or no thought that Matt was murdered by the family.
At some point, did you confront Tracy about some of your suspicions?
After that conversation, I had called my son Mark, who lived across the street from us, and he came over, and at that point, we did have a conversation together in talking to Tracy, like, tell us something about it. And she wasn't very forthcoming in giving information.
Do you remember what day that was?
That was the Saturday morning, the day after Matt's, July 13th.
Did you record that conversation?
I don't recall if we recorded that particular one, but we did start to record conversations because I had my, the hairs up in the back of my neck went up that this is suspicious.
Why did you think it was suspicious?
Because it was just, when we started to hear that, that other people were involved, it's like, this didn't make sense. This did not make sense based on all the information and all the information that Kate was giving Matt about can't wait to see you and all, just that she couldn't get a car. I felt sorry for her, and I'm sure Matt did too, to go pick her up. But I was really under the impression that Kate was going to drive back, and that's some of my conversation with Matt was, when is she returning, and so forth and so on. So, that's kind of how it went. But Mark was present when we kind of started to hear some of the conversation with Tracy.
Okay, I'd like to play a portion of State's Exhibit 39.
Has that been admitted?
Not yet, but just have her identify it first, Your Honor.
Tracy, this is Mark. I'm here with.
Do you recognize?
That's Mark, my son.
Do you recognize that conversation?
Yes,
Is this the one that occurred, you believe, the day after?
I think so. I think.
State would move to admit State's Exhibit 39.
No objection.
So admitted, thank you.
And permission to publish.
Yes.
I'm here with my mom. Can you tell us from the beginning what you know?
Yes. So, let's see. Matt was on his way to the house, to my house, because Katie and the kids are here. And they were Kate was undetermined whether she was gonna talk for a little while, go right away back to California. It was not abundantly clear what the outcome was going to be of Matt coming out and talking. So about 10 o'clock last night, he got to the house. I was in the kitchen, and I was sitting on the counter. I was alone in the kitchen, and I did not hear the doorbell ring. I didn't hear a door knock. And Matt was in my dining room. And I knew he was due to come over to my house, but I didn't expect to look up and see him there. He was really, really mad and like very agitated, for lack of a better term, and you're fine. I stayed in the kitchen. I said, Kate's upstairs, but she's going to come downstairs. And I stayed in the corner of my kitchen because I was feeling uncomfortable at that moment. I was very thrown off that he was inside the house, and I didn't know it. And then he went around the corner, and then I heard gunshots. I don't know how many, probably, I don't know how many, 4, I think.
Jesus.
And Matt was on the ground, and he had a knife in his hand. And we called 911. And I told Katie to stay upstairs while I called 911 because I didn't want her to see it. And I wanted her to stay upstairs with the kids. They were sleeping though, and I didn't know they were sleeping. And the police came and separated us, talked to us, and I've not slept for 1 second. So that's why I'm really upset, and I'm in a combination of shock and sadness, and so that's
before the gunshots, did you hear an altercation? Did you hear screaming? Nothing. Just
no, I don't. If there was noise, I didn't hear it or I don't remember it.
When you saw Matt with the knife later in his hand,
I personally did not see him walking with the knife. I saw him on the ground.
was it like
Immediately
a
after.
pocket knife? Was it like a
It was like
knife?
golly, like it.
Like Matt doesn't carry a knife typically.
Okay, well, I don't.
I'm just wondering. I'm trying to put this together. This is mind blowing.
Yes, I agree. It was. I can't think of the way to describe it. It's like a tactical knife.
Okay. Did you have another conversation with Tracy again?
Yes, there was another one.
Do you remember when that one was?
I think we had a larger conversation the following day when Kate wanted to talk with me.
Okay. The state would like to play the first portion of State's Exhibit 40.
To a gun.
Okay. I'm sorry, that's a little bit, but do you recognize that voice?
I think it was me, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is a short
that-
clip.
Yes. Is that a portion of recorded phone conversation with Tracy?
I'm not sure, I didn't hear all of it, but probably.
Okay. The state would move to admit State's Exhibit 40?
No objection.
Exhibit 40 is admitted without objection. Thank you.
Move to public.
A gun that was not secured with children in the house.
It was in a locked safe high up in the garage.
And who had the combination with the lock to that safe? Obviously,
Rory and, well, Katie doesn't, but everyone but Rory.
Okay, so your son had access to get to that gun if you needed it.
Well, I'd asked him to get passports once. I'd asked him to get other things out of it for me.
But he knew the gun was there. He knew the gun
Yeah,
was,
with the passport, yeah.
and he took the gun out in anticipation of Matt's arrival. While on,
No, I don't
coke.
think that's the case.
He had the gun when Matt arrived. Did he
I
go,
have
did he go
no
out to the
idea.
garage and get the gun and then
I-
shoot Matt?
I have no idea. I did not see any of that.
And
I
he-
have no idea where Kevin even was. I was in the kitchen.
Hold on here. See what pass it with you,
Thank you. Cross?
Thank you. I don't have a lot of questions. Mrs. Restelli, or did I call you Mrs. Restelli or
Yes.
Diane?
Mrs. Restelli's fine.
Mrs. Restelli. And I'm sorry for the circumstance and position you're in, Mrs. Restelli. You've had to talk to police, you've had to sit through hearings, you've even testified a bit. You said you met Kate's family a little bit.
Mhm.
You would see
Yes.
time and again, but it sounds like you didn't probably get to know them that well. Is that fair to say?
I would say I didn't know them that well, but I knew of her mother and some stories and some things that she had done.
And so that's what I was gonna get to, and it's my fault, I said family, but let's talk about the people you really did kind of know, and that's Kate, because she's your daughter-in-law, right?
Mhm, yes.
And you had talked about her being rough around the edges. I mean, she would be engaged in circumstances that were explosive and where she was out of hand, right?
Yes.
In fact, she's the only one of the two of them that ever got arrested for domestic abuse, right?
Pardon me again?
She got arrested for domestic abuse against Matt.
Yes, she did.
And then you knew about Tracy, because that's your sister-in-law's mother, right? You knew her better than the rest of the family.
I knew her a little bit, but, I wouldn't say necessarily better, but knew some things of Tracy, yes.
And I guess one of the reasons I'm asking you kind of who you knew and why is because there's these calls that we've heard. You and I have never met, right?
No, not until today, or well, we've seen you on video,
Oh,
pre-trial.
oh, that's right, okay. My point is I'm just explaining what I might not know fully what you know, but it appears from these phone calls and the things that we have seen that happened, at least afterwards, that the person you would call, at least around this time frame, was Tracy, or she would call you, right?
Actually, it was Kate that wanted to talk, and that's when I engaged in a longer conversation on that Sunday with Tracy and, and that Saturday and Sunday.
There is a little, let me help set the stage for what I understand or don't understand, sort of this framework, is that when Kate took off and left on the 20th of June, you learned about that, right?
I learned about it on the next day, the 21st, when Tracy called me.
Okay, that's my point, is that the only thing I learned about communications with you on that event, the leaving, is that Tracy's the one who called you, talked to you about Kate
Correct.
leaving. Now, certainly you've been able to hear through the course of this case what her claims are about why she left, and that's not what you observed in life, was it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not true. When she's lying about that, right?
She does have some lies, yes.
And it was also something you talked to Tracy about, was you felt like it was rather remarkable and unfair that Tracy was an enabler of that sort of activity, meaning taking off and leaving your husband and taking the children and not telling your husband.
I think that Tracy was part of that, a big part of that, yes.
And you even confronted her, gentle conversation. You didn't know she was recording it at the time, right?
I didn't have any idea that they were recording any of our conversations.
So this is on the 21st probably.
21st.
And Tracy's calling you and Tracy's recording it. Didn't tell you she was gonna record it. But you heard that phone call?
There was a phone call, yes. And
And,
then there was some text messages that occurred.
okay. So that's what I'm just saying. It would be sort of, you would talk to Tracy about Matt and Kate, or Tracy would call you. It's not like you ever involved with the
I
other
never
people.
really called Tracy in regards to anything with Matt and Kate. It was always Tracy would call me if there was something she was concerned about.
So when Tracy wanted to give information, Tracy would call. It was, I mean, do you remember telling her, look, these guys are not having a good, it's not a good place. They're not making money, they're not paying for the thing, but taking off in the middle of the day and not telling isn't very appropriate. That
It's
was
not.
your feeling, right?
It's not appropriate.
It's not appropriate, it's not fair, it's not right, and it was Tracy explaining why Tracy enabled it, right?
Tracy does, or did.
I mean, wasn't it apparent to you that Tracy really enabled and even manipulated Kate?
I think she does, yes.
And then, again, I'm sorry that this awful thing happened. And then we have heard today just a few calls. Now, those were calls that you recorded.
Yes.
It just didn't make sense to you as pretty early on that what you were hearing happened the way they were claiming it.
It did not make sense to me at all. Knowing Matt and just knowing just the dynamics, it did not make sense to me at all.
And even beyond that, I mean, it's not just the dynamics, because you talked to Matt and you knew that Matt didn't seem like he was going angrily to Utah.
He was not.
Seemed like a guy who thought he could go there and everything would be okay.
I think he thought things would work out, yes.
We know, of course, what happened. But that feeling that Matt had was largely due to Kate setting him up and lying to him.
He did.
So then you had that call with Mark where you're just trying to get some basic details early in time frame, very early, right?
Yes.
And the second call we heard, I believe, was on July 14th.
I think it was that Sunday.
Yeah, and at that time, you had learned some facts and features about the case, right?
Yes.
Still hard for you to get a lot of direct evidence from the police because they're undertaking an investigation,
Correct.
right? There were some news stories, and then there was some, what I guess you would agree with me, baloney that Tracy was giving you, right?
Yes.
You recorded that one too, and you talked to Kate and Tracy.
Kate
On
was,
that, you
Kate
remember
was
that?
pretty, Kate wasn't very forthcoming. Tracy was doing a lot of the talking or feeding.
And then let's be clear that this is that second one where
Second one.
you're calling on the Sunday and you're starting to post some questions. We just heard something like, a gun, and you knew who had fired and
Yes.
shot your son. And you're like asking questions and doing a fine job of cross-examination, by the way. And Tracy, let's say Kate first. Kate's the first one you talked to in that call, right?
Yes.
We didn't hear that in this clip, but
It was the very first part.
first
The
part
question
is
was her asking me for money.
Tracy asking for money, lying to you, what you now know are just lies to you.
Yes.
And then you're saying, I can hear your mom, Tracy, in the background giving you answers.
Yes.
Meaning Tracy's in the background giving Kate answers about what to say to you on a phone call, right?
Yes.
And you remember, you were like, why don't you just put her on?
Yes.
And then I mean, it clearly seemed like these two were caught off guard by your questions. Do you agree?
I think probably they were.
Hammond and Hall, and they weren't answering from what you know now, they certainly weren't telling you the truth.
There's a lot of avoidance.
And then Tracy got on, Kate got Tracy on, and then you had the conversation with Tracy part of which we heard, right?
There was some of it, yes.
And she lied to you, right?
Yes.
So even after all this happened, and you've been able to attend the court hearings,
Yes.
I'm sure that's not pleasant, and I'm sorry, including today,
Yes.
Kate's testimony.
Yes.
I mean, Kate spent the entire time after this shooting lying to you until she got arrested. Isn't that true?
Correct.
The mother of the person she murdered.
Yes.
And you heard you speak this at Kate's sentencing,
Yes.
and you summed it up, didn't you? In reference to betrayal,
Absolutely betrayal.
and that her betrayal was deceiving the lies she told you
Yes.
and the lies she told her family.
That's correct.
Thank you. Redirect.
Please call your next witness here. And give some directions to make the process a little easier for you. Please wait for the attorneys to finish asking questions before you respond. Please just give a direct response. That means simply yes or no. Please do that. Narrative response is typically inappropriate. If you don't understand the question, ask them to rephrase it to yes, and then give us verbal responses so that we actually understand your answer. Fair enough? Thank you. Mr. Ratawi.
Tim, thank you for being here today. Will you state your name and spell your name for the jury?
Yeah, my name is Timothy Ellis, Timothyellis.
And have you been able to listen to any of the trial?
No, I haven't been watching the trial.
Okay. You didn't hear your sister testify?
No, I haven't been watching any of that.
And how old are you?
31. Right, yeah.
Just like to show you this exhibit. Fairly accurately kind of describe your family tree a little bit.
Yeah.
So who's the sibling that's just above you?
That'd be Kevin Ellis.
How much older is he than you?
About 4 years.
And who's just below you?
That'd be Rachel.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who is below you?
Kevin Ellis.
Would you speak into the mic?
Kevin Ellis. Yeah, I'm sorry.
And you said he was about 4 years older than you?
Correct.
And who's right below you? Which sibling is right below you?
Rachel Trujillo.
And how many years younger she is than you?
Off the top of my head, no.
It's okay. A little bit younger, a lot younger?
A bit younger, yeah, for sure.
And what city do you reside in 2024?
24 Pleasant Grove.
Tell me a little bit about your family. Do you have a close family?
Yeah, I would say we have a very close family.
And were you just like right in the middle?
Yeah, right in the middle, smack dab.
Do you talk often to your family?
Yeah, I would go over to my mom's house all the time.
You talk to other members of your family how often?
Family members that live here in Utah fairly often, on a weekly basis. Ones that didn't live in Utah, maybe every few weeks.
Are you married?
No, fiance, engaged.
And Would you do things together with your family, like vacations, holidays?
Yes.
How often would you say?
At least we would try to do maybe something every year or so, is what I would say.
Who would that include?
Everyone, really. Yeah, everyone on the family tree, usually.
Including in-laws, and nephews, nieces, things like that?
Yeah, if we went out to California, for sure.
You said about yearly, we'd have a big trip?
Yeah, about. Not
Would you-
every year, but.
Would you have group chats?
There are group chats. I'm not in them a lot. Like the Snapchat group, I was mainly just a fly on the wall, just mainly listening. That's about it.
Have you kind of established a role in your family as kind of, I mean, do you have a role in your family?
I mean, I guess. I guess I would say I had a father-ish role, not completely, but to Aurora, definitely, I played that role a little bit, and probably even to Rachel and Jacob.
Are you kind of a peacemaker in the family?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you do a lot of the cooking, the grilling, that kind of thing?
I do love to cook and grill, and I would always go over to my mom's and do that.
So when there's gatherings, you're the one that's kind of,
I would try to set those gatherings up and let's make some food. Let's have a good time.
which sibling were you closest to?
During which time?
Just in about July of 2024.
Closest? I mean, probably Kevin, honestly. Yeah, I mean, we would talk all the time, so.
Have you always lived in, when did you last move out of home? When did you last move out of Tracy's home?
I can't remember the exact year. It's been a couple years, maybe like 8.
Did you used to live in California?
Before we moved to Utah, yeah.
Remember roughly when that was?
I think 2010, I believe.
And who was living in the home at that time?
So when we moved out here, it was me, my mom, Bruce, who was her current husband, Rachel, Jacob, and Aurora.
Okay, and where was Kevin living at that point?
Kevin, I believe, was, when we moved out to Utah, Kevin was living in California.
And Kate was in California?
Yes, Kate was also in California.
And Tara Lynn as well?
Yes.
Okay. Were you still in high school or college?
Yes.
Okay. And then where did you move to in Utah?
We moved up to Suncrest, which is in Draper.
And then from there, did your mom move to American Fork at some point?
Many years later. I was out of the house when she actually moved to American Fork. I was living in Murray.
What did Kevin like to do with his time?
Kevin loved movies and TV shows. We all had MacBooks, and I know he loved to watch those movies and TV shows. He could, quote any movie. And then I know he loved pool.
Was he good at pool?
Yes.
Did he have lots of friends?
Yes.
How often would you talk to Kevin? Roughly around?
Anytime I'd go over to the house, and he was there, we would always chat.
How often would you go to the house?
Once a week to every other week.
How long had he been living in the American Fork house?
Was I living in
No,
that?
how long had Kevin been living in the American Fork house?
I believe at that time it was getting close to 3 years.
Do you know who Matt Restelli is?
Yes,
How do you know him?
because he's Catherine Restelli's husband.
And how long have you known him?
Basically, most of their relationship, like over 10 years.
So you know him pretty well?
I wouldn't say I know him pretty well, because it's not like we had full-on conversations every time.
But he's a brother-in-law?
But he was a brother-in-law, yeah.
In a close family? Was your family close? With the extended family? I mean, extended family's been invited a lot of places.
I can't really speak for everyone else. Me personally, I wasn't like super close to them. I didn't talk a lot with them.
Okay. Did you like talking to Matt?
I didn't, I mean, to be honest, he would just bring up subjects that I wasn't interested in. And so, you know, I can't say I would enjoy talking to him, but I didn't dislike talking to him. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
What kind of things would he talk about?
Mountain biking, his property, and just various random things.
Okay. Did he talk a lot?
Yeah, he was a talker.
Did you find him to be annoying?
I guess, yeah, sometimes.
Did you and Kevin ever talk about Matt?
Probably, yes.
You know if Kevin thought, what Kevin thought about Matt?
I mean, he wasn't best friends with Matt, but, you know, we're brother-in-laws, and, you know, we're still family. But, you know, they weren't best friends or anything like that.
Did Matt gravitate to anyone in your family?
No one in particular that I can think of.
Did you talk to him the most of anyone in your family?
No, I wouldn't say I talked to him the most. I would say I put up, like, I try to be a nice guy, and so, you know, if he's talking to me, I'm going to have a conversation with him back.
Was he nice to you?
Yeah.
Does your family have a nickname for Matt?
Um,
A nickname?
yeah, yes, there was one at one point.
What was it?
Olaf.
Why did you call him Olaf?
Because they wanted to talk about him in front of the kids and not give away who they were talking about.
Why did you choose the name Olaf?
That I really can't tell you. I had no part in picking that name.
It's not because he talks a lot?
Nope, not that I'm aware of.
When did you find out that Katie was leaving Matt?
I can't really remember. It was probably right before or as she was coming out to California. My mom would have let me know that, hey, like, Katie's coming out here.
Is your family pretty open?
Yeah.
They don't really hide a lot of things?
I mean, I like to think that, yeah.
But you knew Matt was coming out before Matt was coming out?
Yes.
Okay. And did you get together after that? After he came out, did you guys meet Katie or kind of have a get-together with Katie?
Tommy, why don't you pull the mic closer?
Sorry, Ron. After Katie came out, did you see her?
Yes, after Katie came out, yes, I made plans to go over there and see her and actually try to do some grilling and have some good times.
How many times did you see her while she was out here?
I mean, on many occasions. Like I said, I would go over there all the time, and she was there a lot of the times.
Which sister were you closest to?
Closest sister would probably be Rachel.
And what was Kate doing with her time when she was out here?
You know, hanging out with her kids, doing things with them. I know she started dating.
Do you know if she planned on going back, or what was your understanding of why she was out here?
I knew she was unhappy with her marriage. I don't talk to her about that type of stuff, so I wasn't really sure on what her plan was.
Okay. Let's talk about July 12th. Do you remember July 12th?
To the best of my ability, yes.
Did you talk to anyone in your family that day?
Yes.
Who do you remember talking to?
I definitely remember talking to Rachel.
Okay. Did you find out Matt was coming out?
I think it was on a phone call because I was at work that day, and I believe Rachel called me and let me know that Matt was driving out to Utah.
Okay. And did you know that Matt might come out to Utah at some point?
There was an idea that he might come out here to try to see the kids and Katie.
And was there any people talking about that before the July 12th? Before he
Yeah, a little bit. We were just, yes.
What was your understanding of that conversation?
That he might be coming out, and that there's a possibility because of the situation that he might be upset.
And what's the situation?
that Katie is wanting to leave him and that he wouldn't be happy with that.
And what did you talk about how to handle that situation?
To the best of my ability, from what I remember, there was a very loose plan for at least me to show up because Kevin and Jacob already lived there, to have me go over, just to make the peace and just make sure nothing happened.
Okay, was that before that day?
Yes, I believe it was like maybe like a day or two beforehand. We had briefly discussed it. It might have even been my idea to like, hey, do you want me over there?
You remember who you talked about that with?
I can't remember.
Okay. So on the 12th, July 12th, 2024, you got a call from Rachel.
Yes.
Do you remember what that call was about?
I believe it was her telling me that Matt was driving out, and that I believe I asked her if she still wanted me to go over that day, and the decision was no, that I wasn't needed.
Did she say why?
Because Kevin and Jacob were going to be there, and they didn't feel like they needed me.
She didn't say why?
No.
Did she ask you anything else?
Not that I can recall.
Can I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes, please.
Had you explained to the states in Exhibit 118, you recognize what that is?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's some text between me and Rachel on July 12th.
Okay. Are those all the texts you had with her that day?
Most likely. I can't say 100%.
To the best of your memory.
Yeah.
State would move to admit and publish States Exhibit 118.
Any objection? No objection. So ordered, thank you.
Okay, let's talk about the first text first. You got the text message at 2:33:40 p.m., is that right? Is that from
Correct.
Rachel? Do
Yes.
you know if the phone call was before or after that?
I think the phone call was after that. Was right after that, I think.
Okay, and what does Rachel ask you? Or what does Rachel say to you?
She's trying to figure out where to send Rory, whether she was going to have Rory go to her house or to my house, but I have Bunny Rapids and she has allergies. And
Did she say anything about why she wanted to send Roy to your house?
no.
You don't remember anything else in that conversation?
I mean, with the phone call afterward, it was most likely because Matt was coming over and they didn't want Rory to be, have to deal with anything that happened.
Did you only talk to Rachel once that day?
Yes.
So would it make more sense that the phone call would have been before the text messages?
I guess. I really can't remember the timeline. It was so long ago.
Okay. But you do remember talking about Rory possibly coming to your house?
Yes.
But you don't remember why?
Like I said, just because Rory is, she's not good confrontation, and we didn't want her to have to deal with anything like that.
Okay. And then if I could have you look at the next page. You get a text messages. What time did you get those text messages at?
9:30 p.m.
Okay. And what was Rachel telling you, letting you know?
Yeah, she just informed me that Matt is close, and he should be there in about 30 minutes, and that Rory is at her house, and that Kevin, Katie, and Jacob are there.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor. At that point, in that last text message, did you feel any concern or need to go over?
At that point, no, because they were telling me that Kevin, Jacob, and Katie are all there, and that I'm basically not needed, is the idea that I got.
Were you scared of Matt?
I was definitely nervous. I wouldn't say I was scared of him, but I was definitely nervous.
Nervous because of the situation?
Nervous because of the situation, and I knew that he liked to drink, and so I was just worried that, with the anger and if he was drinking, that, something might happen.
Further.
I'm sorry?
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Thank you, Judge. Morning, Tim.
Good morning.
May I call you Tim?
Yes.
I'm going to make an assumption here, but you're kind of nervous?
Yes.
Okay. Take a deep breath. I'm going to just ask you some follow-up questions. I obviously can imagine why you're nervous. This is not an ideal situation for anybody in a family. If you need a break, just let me know, okay? Now, as the state was asking you questions, you were indicating it's hard for me to remember, can't remember. Now, nobody contacted you to interview you until this month, was it?
Yeah, it was last Monday.
But you did go, obviously you had conversations with your mom, we just saw, or with Kate the night that this happened, correct?
With Katie or with Rachel?
I'm sorry, with Rachel.
With Rachel, yes.
And you actually went over to the house the next day, right?
Yes.
And you saw your mom there?
Not at the house. I went and met them at
Or at the hotel.
the hotel.
Apologies.
And then I went over to the house later.
Say that again?
I did go over to the house later that day after they said we could.
And you went over there, you asked if they needed anything.
Correct.
They asked if you could maybe bring them some food.
Yep.
Katie was freaking out.
Yes. Yeah, she was crying. She was inconsolable at the moment. And yeah, she was freaking out.
But your mom wasn't.
No, my mom was really calm.
I think at one point you described her as chill.
Yeah. Yeah, we were joking around. Trying to lighten the mood.
Looking back with everything you know now, you look at that interaction a little bit different, I imagine.
Correct.
Now, we talked about Kev playing pool, and you said he was good, but he wasn't just good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he was going to tournaments.
Almost pro?
Yeah.
Now, and I appreciate the way that you were, correct me if I'm couching this in the wrong terms, you're very careful to describe your interactions, or your relationship rather, with Matt.
Yes.
And I imagine that's out of respect.
Yeah.
And so, when you say you're cordial with him and you had a relationship with him, superficial, would that be fair?
Yeah. We got along. Yeah.
Got along. You'd visited him and Kate out in California, right?
Correct.
And you would have some interactions with them.
Yes.
Like in any family, you saw a couple of things that made you uncomfortable.
Correct.
The way that both of them, both Kate and Matt, maybe talked to each other,
Yeah.
wasn't your idea of how a marriage should be.
Correct.
Okay. But just observations,
Yes.
not casting judgment. Correct?
Correct.
You saw how they would interact with their kids.
Yes.
At times you didn't like how they interacted with their kids.
Yes.
Again, not casting judgment, right?
Correct.
Just observations.
Correct.
Now, you indicated that, and I don't know if it was you who described yourself as this way or the family, but you were more the peacemaker.
That would be me describing myself.
Okay.
But yes, I like to think of myself like that.
Okay. Have you always been like that in your family? We all have our roles.
Yeah, I like to think so.
Okay. Now, is it fair to say that you had a good relationship with your family as a whole?
Yes.
And at any one point, you all knew what was going on in each other's life to some extent.
Yes.
You have no reason to think that what you're being told is going on in your family's life is wrong, correct?
Correct.
Now, at one point, you learned that Kate is coming over
Yes.
from California to Utah.
Yes.
Now, you start hearing bits and pieces of why.
Yes.
And those are genuine concerns that are being expressed to you.
Yes.
And you believe those concerns.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're coming from my family, so I have no reason not to believe it.
And you don't have a history with them that would make you second guess it.
Correct.
So when they tell you these things, as the peacemaker, you would say you were level-headed?
Yes.
Your approach to these problems are as a problem solver.
Yes.
How can I help?
Yes.
So when you're getting calls indicating he's on his way, you make a mental note of that, correct?
Correct.
You say, how can I help?
Correct.
And you offer that help.
Yes.
As he's coming over from California to Utah, you already have an idea of the problems that are going on.
Yes.
You don't know that Kate is speaking with Matt.
I know they've had phone calls, but not like,
Here, I'll rephrase. You don't know what they're talking about.
correct.
You believe that he's coming over because he is upset at your sister
Correct.
for taking their kids
Correct.
without his permission
Yeah, correct.
to another state.
Yes.
Now, you could understand why he would be upset.
Yes.
So the fact that you've also seen him in other situations where he's reacted in ways that you don't necessarily feel comfortable with, it's not far off to have a genuine fear.
Correct. Yeah.
So when your family tells you that they want to get Rory out of the house, you being level-headed think that's a good idea.
Yes.
Apparently, you even offered for her to come over to your house
Yeah, because I'm closer.
because you're closer. Ultimately, you weren't needed.
Yeah.
Now, I want to hit on this. Mr. Watabe asked you whether your family's open, whether you guys are open with each other. Correct?
Yes.
And you said, I hope we are.
Yes.
You haven't seen what these jurors have seen over the last couple days.
No.
You haven't heard.
No.
But you have, since this happened, become aware of a lot of information.
Yes.
You know that certain members of your family were not open with you.
Yes.
We're not what?
Open with you. That they were hiding things from you.
Yes.
That they were telling you that something was happening when something else was happening.
Yeah.
That they wanted you to be there, thinking that something bad was going to happen, when in fact, that was nothing, there was nothing further from the truth.
Yeah.
I imagine there's a bit of betrayal there.
Yes.
Now, you didn't agree with what Kate was doing by dating.
No, I did not.
Were you surprised that you were just called last week?
Yes, I was.
And you were surprised because you never got to tell your side.
Yeah. I felt like I had a piece of the puzzle and no one came to get it.
Now, when you heard that that you weren't needed because Kev, as well as forgot his name,
Jacob.
Jake, were going to be there. State asked you whether that concerned you or anything. It didn't.
No, because I figured, I mean, Kevin's my older brother, and I felt like I could count on my older brother. And if he was there, everything would be fine.
Now, you've never seen Kevin to be violent.
No.
Like, I think, would you describe him as, if he's there with you, if you guys are out and somebody's pushing you, he'd be your protector.
Yeah, he would step in.
You could count on him for that.
Yes.
Moment's notice.
Yes.
Now, to be fair, you didn't know what could happen that night.
I had no idea what would happen.
You just knew and genuinely felt that something could.
Yes.
Having heard what did happen, you were blindsided,
Yeah.
shocked.
Yeah. Mortified.
Since that day, I'll withdraw the question. Will I have 1 second, Judge?
Yes, of course.
Thank you, Judge. That's all I have. Thank you, Tim.
Redirect.
Yes, please.
Were you aware of an air tag being placed in Matt's truck?
After the fact, yeah.
How after what fact?
I believe after he started coming out here, I was told that there was an air tag that they could use to track him.
Before July 12th, right?
What? I can't.
Before July 12th?
Judge, I'm sorry. May we approach?
Yes.
Sorry, Judge.
So you were not on the air tag, is that correct?
Did I have the
Were
ability
you-
to track?
Were you tracking that?
No,
Were you there the night of July 12th?
no.
You believe Matt would have been upset because Katie took the kids and came to Utah without his knowledge, correct?
Well, I mean, he knew he was coming out here, or she was coming out here, but not the exact reason why.
And that would make him upset?
Yeah, if he did find out, yeah.
And how far did you live from Tracy?
Like 5 minutes.
So if you were afraid of concerns, you could have been there quickly.
Yes.
So you weren't that concerned?
I mean, I was definitely, I was concerned. I can't remember the exact phone call, but I definitely remember, well, I would have said, if you need me, call me. Because that's what I always say. If they had needed me, I told them to call me.
You testified earlier that there was a plan at one point for you to be out there, wasn't there?
A very loose plan, yes.
Before July 12th, correct?
Yeah.
And what was your plan on going over?
Just to be there, just to, if they started fighting, to be able to mediate.
Were you going to take a gun with you?
No, I don't own a gun.
So on July 11th, on July 11th, there was a plan, be it loose, for you to go to the house
Yeah.
and be there if Matt came.
Yes.
And then on July 12th, you were told not to come.
Yes.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Recross, brief, we're done. Nothing, Judge. All right, it's okay. Thank you. May this witness be excused from his subpoena?
Yes, Your Honor.
No objection. All right, thank you, sir. You may leave. Just hand that to the attorney.